Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, we will be analyzing YouTube adding chapter markers to their videos, Amazon absolutely gutting the affiliate marketing program, oh my god, and a whole lot more, so go ahead and stick around. Why am I doing this? YouTube is rolling out, or at least they are beta testing, chapter markers on their videos. This is absolutely amazing, and I will share a clip with you a little bit later where I put my foot right in my mouth. It cracks me up. But YouTube is doing this, they are accomplishing this by pulling timestamps directly out of your description. So if you have timestamps in your description, they will go pull that data, and then in the timeline of the video, there is a break at the beginning of each of those new timestamps, and it tells you how long each of those sections are and what that section title is. Now, I do not believe that this is available on every single channel. I don't think it's available for every single viewer. I think it is still limited on the rollout. I am just lucky enough to maybe be one of the users who has access to it, or maybe I am one of the channels that has access to it. I see this on both the Podcastage channel as well as the Bandrew Says podcast channel, and in both of those channels, I always have timestamps in the description. If you want to accomplish this, or at least if you want to see if you are able to get this, you need to include a timestamp for 00:00 for the very beginning of the video. If you don't want this to appear, you don't have a timestamp at 00:00. You would just have a timestamp starting at 30 seconds. Hey, this is when I start talking about this. But if you want this chapter marker feature, you need to have a timestamp right at the beginning of the video. Now, if you're a creator, how does this affect you? I think it is going to be extremely beneficial for you to start implementing timestamps into your description, because that is going to give your viewer a much better experience. I will say, yes, it will decrease your watch time, but this is a feature being rolled out by YouTube, so maybe we will see them try to push channels that are implementing this. That is pure speculation, but I know YouTube loves watch time, but at the same time, they're implementing a feature that lowers watch time. It's very counterintuitive. So maybe we're seeing a shift where YouTube is focusing less on watch time and more on positive user experience. And if you have a viewer who comes to one of your videos looking for a piece of information on topic X, and you have a 20-minute video and you don't get to that piece of information until 11 minutes and 37 seconds, that viewer is going to have a terrible watch experience, or they may just click off your video, leading to zero watch time. So by including timestamps and having this new chapter marker, the viewer is able to say, I want to know about this. I want to see this test. I am going directly to that. Then they get the information, they leave with what they went there for, they had a great experience, and you provided that for them with the help of YouTube. So when that person has a friend say, hey, I need to learn about this, who do you think they are going to recommend? They are going to say, hey, Podcastage provided me this information and they didn't waste my time. He gave me the information. He told me where to skip to get the information I was looking for. If you need information, go check out his channel. He has the timestamps there. You don't have to listen to him just go on and on about bullcrap. It's right there. So yes, it may decrease your watch time, but at the same time, there is the potential that you may maintain some of those viewers that you are previously losing, but you're also improving the viewer's experience, which in my opinion will lead to them being more likely to share your channel through word of mouth, which is one of the most powerful ways to grow your channel, to grow anything you're working on. Positive experiences lead to word of mouth. Word of mouth leads to growing your audience. Now let me share with you a clip from 1 month ago. As far as channel markers for audio-based stuff, I absolutely love it. For podcasts, it allows you to skip forward and back and get to exactly what you want. But for YouTube, I do love it. I love the idea of it. They will never implement it. I don't think they will ever implement it. The reason being, when you allow people to easily skip around to just what they want, that decreases watch time. which decreases the amount of the watch session, which is what YouTube is most interested in. YouTube just wants you to stay on the platform and watch as much as possible because that makes more money for them. So by adding channel markers, that means people would watch less and that earns YouTube less money. Well, here we are 1 month later, and I don't think that my foot could be any farther in my mouth. It is down my throat at this point. I said, no, they will never do this. And then a month later, hey, here are chapter markers on YouTube videos. Don't I look silly? Don't I look dumb? But YouTube, thank you so much for rolling this out. This is an amazing feature. I know you get a lot of hate. People don't say it enough, so thank you. This is a positive move on your part, and it is providing the viewer with a much better viewing experience. So keep up the great work. I appreciate you. Now let's jump to something that is going to lead to every tech reviewer lighting their hair on fire and jumping down the street naked. Amazon is cutting their affiliate marketing fees in half. Oh my God, this is terrifying. Fees have dropped significantly. They drop on April 21st. There are some categories that were earning 10%, which are now down to 3% on every sale made. In some cases, there is 6% down to 3%. I know I don't need to say this, but I am going to anyways. This is going to affect a lot of affiliate marketers quite significantly, especially if they rely solely on affiliate marketing, especially if they don't listen to my show where I yell at people nonstop, diversify your income streams, you idiots, because one of these income streams can dry up in a heartbeat, in a second, in a snap. It's like Thanos for your affiliate marketing income. I don't mean to sound harsh here, but this is how it works. Amazon is a company. Amazon likes earning money. Amazon's revenue is likely down right now because people don't have as much disposable income, meaning how are they going to make that up? Give people less of a cut of sales. These people aren't going to delete every single Amazon link on their site. They are still going to get the majority of that traffic. And if you did not see this coming, you're nuts. You're nuts. The day I got my first check from Amazon, I thought, cool, I got a check from Amazon. This isn't going to last. How else what other revenue streams can I make to get money? Because this isn't going to last. There's no way this is going to last. You could see this coming from a mile away. And I do want to say that if you do rely quite heavily on Amazon affiliates as your income stream, I do sympathize with you. It is terrible. This is why it is so dangerous to be an online content creator and to rely on sources of income and revenue streams that you don't control heavily. When you sign up for Amazon affiliates, like pretty much every contract, it says we can change this whenever the heck we want. This is what they're doing, and this is exactly what that contract is saying could happen. We all knew this was coming, or we should have known that this was coming. And this is why I have been screaming for years that you need to diversify your income streams, because one of them can, and one of them most likely will, dry up at some point, and that's going to leave you high and dry if you don't have other income streams to offset that loss. And I want to end by saying, if you are affected by this, I do feel for you. That is terrible, especially if Amazon affiliates was one of your main sources of income. It is terrible, especially right now when there are 20 plus million jobless claims in America right now in the USA. So it is a terrible time for this to happen because that may have been one of the last income streams that you had. It's how it goes. And I wish you the best of luck in getting some other income streams up and available. Look at other affiliate marketing programs. There are plenty. There's B&H. I know Deity Microphones is doing 10% affiliate rates for you if you make a sale on their website. That is a huge affiliate commission. There's, I don't know all of them. Just look up affiliate marketing. There's thousands of them, I bet. So you can make it up somewhere else. But again, Do not rely on those affiliate marketing sources as your only source of income, because as we're seeing here, overnight, that can change. They can say, we don't want to give you 6 or 10% anymore. We want to give you 3%. How's that? Do you still want to promote our stuff? So just keep that in mind. Best of luck to you, and stay safe out there. That is it for the news, so let us jump to what I have been testing, and you have been watching it this entire time. My main camera angle for this show and for all of my videos is the Canon 90D. I did have a secondary camera, which was the Canon 70D. However, about a month ago, that broke. I fixed it for 1 week. It worked, then it broke again. So I have not had a secondary camera for about a month. No secondary camera angle for this show. No secondary camera to shoot B-roll or thumbnails for my reviews. I have been working with a single camera. I am a very lazy person, so I finally gave in and picked up a second Canon 90D. And the reason that I did that is I already have lenses that fit this mounting system. They have the exact same color science, and I am colorblind, so matching different cameras with different color flavors is a nightmare and borderline impossible for me. But the reason that I was willing to drop the money and buy a second camera is because I am lazy. And I know that sounds really bad, but even though I'm lazy, I have a relatively consistent output for the podcasted reviews as well as this show. And the only reason that I am able to accomplish that is because I have removed as many hurdles as possible to recording. My goal with this studio and how it is set up is very utilitarian, meaning I walk in, I flip a few switches on the cameras, I flip a switch on my interface and the preamp, I hit record on all of them, and I am good to go. It makes it so incredibly easy to sit down and record, even if I don't want to, especially if I don't want to. It's those moments when you don't want to record that it is very important that you have streamlined your production process to remove any kind of difficulty or as much difficulty as possible. Because the fewer hurdles you have to jump over, the more likely you are to say, I don't really want to record, but it's not that difficult, so I'll do it anyways. That is why I have done it, and that is why I was willing to spend the money, and I think that's important for a lot of people to realize. You need to get your studio set up and your production workflow set up in a way that is conducive for you to record and produce your content easily. So now I have a second Canon 90D body that I'm using for this podcast and all of my B-roll and my thumbnails just to make my life a little bit easier. And yes, I will be sending in the 70D to Canon to be repaired because it is still a great camera and I would love to have a backup in case one of these dies. And I just wanted to share this with you, not to flex. I'm not here, oh, look at me, I have 2 cameras. I wanted to share my thought process with you because I want to advocate for you to take the time, sit down with the gear that you have and find out what you can do and how you can set it up to make your life easier when you do have to record. Because all of these things, they're nothing more than tools to allow you to get the job done. If they become a burden, they're no longer useful. Now they are just a PITA, a PITA, a PITA, a pain in the you-know-what. All right, let's jump to what you had to say. First comment comes from Luis. He says, Discord. It records the individual tracks that you can download in any format, and it's free. Luis or Lewis, thank you very much for that comment. I believe this is a reply to Donald Wonder from 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I just checked Discord. It doesn't look like this is a built-in feature. Discord does not have a feature that allows you to record voice chats, multi-tracking, or anything. It is a bot that you have to install on your Discord server, and that will allow you to record the voice chat and do multi-tracking of that. I have never tested this, so I cannot vouch for it, but Luis or Lewis is suggesting that, so Donald Wonder, that is something else that you might want to consider, because, as we'll talk about a little bit later, Discord has amazing sounding audio quality, and they use the Opus audio codec. Next comment comes from Penty. They say, tip the first for online meetings. Mute your microphone when you are not talking. Penty, this is an amazing, amazing tip, and I honestly cannot believe that I left it off of my how to work from home. I mean, I can't believe that Boomer Drew forgot to include that on their list. Also, in my top 10 tips for better sounding recording, I can't believe I didn't include that as well, because I imagine a lot of people who are teleworking do that. The amount of times I have been on a conference call and heard somebody sound like they are building a ship is insane. There is no etiquette in these meetings. People are incredibly rude and disrespectful and inconsiderate to everybody else on the call. Maybe they are just technologically illiterate and don't know what they're doing, but regardless, there should be a way to ensure that everybody mutes their microphones. I know there are some ways and some tools that allow the host of the meeting to mute everybody, but unless you're a higher up, maybe you don't have access to that. I find it really inconsiderate, and that is the first thing people should do. If you're not talking, mute your microphone. Even though I'm really good about not making noise, I still do that. Great suggestion and great comment. Next comment comes from Pablo KBS. He says, "Hey Bandrew, thanks for answering my question/suggestion. You've mentioned a few times that you have a full-time job. What do you do? Not sure if you shared that before. Thanks." Pablo, thank you very much for the comment, and I could tell you what I do for a living, but then I would have to, you know how the spy saying goes. I mean, no, not a spy at all. No, I put numbers in Excel. I add them, I subtract them, then I get the total, and I look at it and say, oh, that's good, or that's bad. That's pretty much my job. When I put it that way, it discounts what I do so much, but that's the gist of it. I put numbers in Excel and do calculations on them, and although it does sound extremely dull, I really enjoy Excel. I love playing around with Excel and making new sheets that do cool formula. It's so much fun for me. So I put numbers in Excel. Thank you for the comment. I hope that satiates your curiosity. Next, we have a comment from gamer.io. They say, what's better for streaming/recording videos? A large room, untreated, or a small, untreated room? That is an excellent, excellent question, and what I'm about to say may seem counterintuitive, but I think a larger room would be better for you as a streamer or if you're recording videos. The reason I am saying that, the larger the room you have, the farther away from the walls you will be, and the longer it will take for your voice to hit those walls, bounce off the walls, and reverberate back into your microphone. And what that will allow you to do is play around quite a bit more with the attack and the release of your noise gate and allow you to make it sound more natural, because you'll have a few additional milliseconds to adjust the attack and the release before the reverb makes it back into your microphone. So because of that, I think that a larger untreated room would ultimately be better compared to a very small closet-sized room with no padding and no treatment or nothing, because then you are just stuck with the reverb you have in that small room because there is 1 millisecond before it gets back into the mic. So larger room. That is my answer. Final answer. Somebody will tell me I'm wrong. Next, we have a comment from Claudia. She says, regarding the news anchors on local TV stations, it was the same issue with the low quality of audio and lighting. And after 2 weeks, finally, they started noticing that it was not enough, that regular small YouTubers can get better audio and lighting, that all of those who are paid big bucks for being in front of cameras all the time. Claudia, I agree with you 100% that we have seen an improvement over the at-home production over the last few weeks. However, I think we are now running into a new set of issues. A few weeks ago, it was that these people did not have the gear that was necessary to create pleasing audio or video. Now it seems like many of them have acquired the gear that's necessary for that. But the problem we're running into, they don't know how to use that gear. So the next step is informing them and educating them on how to use it. One comes to mind because it was particularly painful to see. The example that comes to mind is a performance that Lady Gaga did from her home of a song called Smile. I will link the performance in the show notes because I don't want to get deleted off of YouTube, but I have a screenshot that I will share with you. In this screenshot, you will see Lady Gaga sitting at a piano, perfectly normal for her, and in front of her, you will see a wonderful, beautiful, vintage Neumann U47 tube microphone. One of the best. This thing goes for $15,000 to $20,000. If you were to look at what polar pattern Lady Gaga is using, you would notice that it is the cardioid mode. Well, what's wrong with that, Bandrew? That's the mode you want to use if you are the solo singer in a studio, right? Yeah, you are right. That is absolutely correct. But the only reason we're able to see that this is the cardioid mode, which is presented on the front of the microphone, is because she is singing into the back of this microphone. She has a $20,000 microphone set to cardioid mode, which is correct, but then she is singing into the dead area of the microphone. It hurts so much. It hurts me so much. Please, Lady Gaga, fix this. Watch the recording. Watch the performance. It sounds so incredibly bad. It sounds really, really bad. It sounds as though there is no direct sound going into the microphone. And I was watching this with a few people in my voice chat the other night, and we were not sure if she was using that microphone or if they were just using the on-camera microphones. That's how bad it sounds. And this is a $20,000 microphone, and you can't tell the difference between that and the camera microphone. It hurts me so. Lady Gaga, I will come over and help you set that up and teach you how to use it. I am by no way, shape, or form, an expert, but I will help you out if you let me record a review of it. Thanks, Lady Gaga. Now let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Alrighty. If you have any questions that you want answered, you can head over to askbandrew.com. You can send in an email. You can send in a video. You can send in a voice submission. I have instructions on how to do all of them. Please send in audio. Please send in video so I don't have to read. You make my life so much easier. I appreciate each and every one of you. First, we have an anonymous email from Anonymous. They say, "Hi, Bandrew. In your last BSP, there was some talk about remote recording services. I just wanted to point you to a project that came out of the German podcasting community, Studio Link. The URL is studio-link.de. It's a service also built around the SIP protocol and optimized for low latency and high audio quality via an Opus codec. They offer a standalone client and a Reaper plugin, and the most expensive subscription is just €10. The basic standalone version can connect up to 6 remote hosts and records individual tracks in FLAC. But as it's optimized for low latency, it doesn't employ noise reduction and echo cancellation algorithms. You have to at least use headphones. Over here, this service has become kind of a standard. Maybe you can look into it and find out if it might be useful from overseas as well. Best regards, Anonymous." Thank you very much, Anonymous. We have another suggestion there for you, Donald Wonder. I will have to look into studio-link.de. I will link that in the episode notes if anybody else is interested in that. I'll see if there is any kind of increased latency or decrease in usability being across the pond. We will see. Anonymous, wonderful, wonderful suggestion. I appreciate you. Now we have a voice submission from the eldest bro. Take it away, eldest boy.
Greetings, Bandrew. It's the eldest bro again with another question for you. So this question is, what do you think of my term that I am branding called social media distancing? So what social media distancing entails is either separating yourself or completely removing yourself from popular social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, or of the like. Now, the real only social media that I use, and I say social media loosely here because I don't really see it as one, is Discord, because that is extremely curated. It is based on communities that you want, that you specifically went out and found. So what social media distancing is removing yourself from those platforms. Because the reason I started doing it is because I noticed it was just a lot of reposting of the same stories that you've heard on the news. It's all things that could be saved until you meet those people in person, because a lot of the people I had on those social media platforms when I was using them were people I either see on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So if there was anything worthwhile catching up on, I would catch up with them in person. And it was filtering out all that pointless, oh, look, I'm going to eat at this place, A, B, or Z. Like, I don't care about that. So that's kind of why I left it. And what really started pushing me to this, and what really made me start to question about submitting this, is it really got out of hand with the whole viral outbreak. I'm not going to say its name because reasons, but it really just drove home that point of, okay, now everyone's at home. They have nothing better to do. So it just amplified everything that I had problems with on those platforms. And it just got too much. So I went through and I've pretty much just completely cut myself off from those social media platforms. So I just want to hear what you think about this. And that would be my question is, what do you think about all that? So this has been the Eldest Bro. Thank you very much. Can't wait to hear your response.
Social media distancing. Eldest, I love this idea so dang much. If I could, I would probably delete all of my social media or have anonymous accounts that I don't do anything with. I don't follow any of my friends or family. I just check what people are saying. I would not use social media because I don't trust it and I don't like what it does. I have a few different reasons why I agree completely. The first one being, I think the constant rage bait and fear porn on social media is damaging. I think that there has been a move from a lot of establishments to try to get you to click on their articles and like and share their posts. And the way they have found, or at least the way they have seemingly found to be most effective, is by making people angry, making people fearful, making people freak the F out all the time. That is why when you look at the titles of their articles, it is not interest rates decrease by 1%. Instead, it is, the end is mother effing nigh. The end is nigh. We're all going to die. Interest rates drop. Instead of providing you with the news, which would be interest rates drop, they are now telling you what you should feel. They are informing you that you should be scared. It's almost as though they don't trust you to be smart enough to determine what you think on a story. I know that's not the case, though. They are doing it because they want to manipulate you to be in a mindset that makes you feel as though if you don't click on this article and read about it, you are going to be ill-informed and you're going to die. I hate it. So that is my first reason, because it has been hijacked by these news outlets and these establishments to manipulate users into giving them ad revenue, to giving them clicks, to giving them views, because they are so g-dang desperate for that tasty, tasty ad revenue, you scumbags. Don't tell us how we are supposed to feel. Give us the information, then we will determine how we feel. Reason number 2. You have nothing to talk about with people now. Previously, you would call somebody up and say, would you like to go to the movies? Would you like to go to dinner? Would you like to go hang out and have a cup of coffee? When you do that, you show up, you say, hey, Bill, Bob, Victoria, Johnny, Jason, what's up? What have you been up to, man? Or woman, How's work going? What's going on? Have you eaten anywhere? Have you seen any good movies recently? Have you done anything interesting? Do you want to share anything with me? Now you can't do that. Well, I guess you can if you want to hear a recap of everything that you already know, because John, Jason, Victoria, anybody is already posting everything that they do on their social media. If you follow them, you see all that bull crap, and then when you meet them, you say, oh yeah, I saw you saw that movie. Saw you liked it. Cool. I saw you ate this for dinner. Says you liked it. Cool. I saw you're really upset at work with your boss for this reason and this reason. Cool. It removes the necessity for conversation. You already know everything about these people now. That is my second reason. It removes the ability to have a conversation with somebody unless you just want to recap what you already know about them. So boring. Number 3, it turns people into addicts for likes and engagement. This is a bit hyperbolic. I don't mean actual addicts. They are not on their knees in a truck stop bathroom for likes and engagement, but through these social media, they have been designed to give you a dopamine hit. When you get a like, when you get a share, when somebody says, great job, you get a little dopamine hit, and you become addicted to that. And the reason that I think that's a problem is it conditions people to expect that constant affirmation, that constant pat on the back, hey, wonderful job there, buddy, you did a great job, which is not going to occur in the real world. If you have a day job, if you go to school, you are not going to get constantly patted on the back, which leads to you feeling a little bit depressed. So what do? You go on social media and you share some more so you can get that little dopamine hit, that little hit of affirmation, that little hit of positivity, that little hit that reminds you, I'm not alone in this world. Somebody cares about me. You are alone in this world. I don't mean that. I just had to take it dark. I am so sorry. That was a joke. But the point is, it creates an extremely unrealistic expectation of what interactions with other people should be. And I think that is dangerous, and it will lead to people falling deeper into an isolation state where they just spend their time on their phone and they don't interact with the people in front of them because that person in front of them is wanting to have a conversation. They aren't just giving them a meaningless thumbs up. So that's my take on social media distancing and your manifesto that you shared, even though it's not in writing. It's a good manifesto that is promoting a good and healthy approach to social media and online interactions. I appreciate you so much, Eldest. Thank you for sending that in. Next, we have a voice submission from Enrique. Take it away, Enrique.
Hello, Bandrew. This is Enrique Can. I love your shows, and I'm working my way through the backlog. Introducing myself, I'm a complete beginner at audio. I got my first real mic a few months ago, and so far I've recorded a few chapters for a free audiobooks project and read some short parts for other people's podcasts. I was in the process of building a moving blanket tent when the new bug hit, so if you hear some background noise and reflection, that's the reason. So I have 2 questions, one practical and one more of an aspirational nature. The first one is there a tutorial that you could recommend for EQ? I've tried a bunch of stuff, but anything more advanced than denoising and a high-pass filter at 80 Hz just makes me sound not as good. I mostly like how I sound, except for the sibilance, and I haven't really figured out how much compression is too much, so I'm just leaving that alone for now. Those 2 are my main concerns. My second question is related to the recent podcastage episode titled, When Should You Upgrade Your Microphone or Interface? I currently have a Neat King B, which you and other reviewers have compared favorably to microphones costing multiples of its price, and I'm wondering what microphones you would consider a definite upgrade from this. This question is more of a hypothetical. Thanks for having me on, thanks for all the great content, and thank you for helping me stay sane in quarantine.
First thing that I will say, for a beginner, you sound absolutely excellent. You sound incredible. You sound much better than a lot of people I have seen on Twitch who are doing it for 5 years. They still sound terrible. You sound amazing, so keep up the good work. As far as an EQ tutorial, I have not personally done one, although I may be doing one in the next month or so. I think that's a good idea. But I will link a few tutorials from people that I think have done a decent job on discussing the topic and explaining how to approach EQing stuff. They are in the episode notes. It is from Booth Junkie and Curtis Judd. They both have videos and different approaches to EQing, and hopefully that will help you. And then in the next month or so, I will hopefully have my video out on how to EQ to make your microphone sound better or something like that, some clickbait crap. As far as what microphone is an upgrade from the King B, this one is hard because the King B does sound excellent. It sounds really good. But at the same time, there are better sounding microphones, but it is going to be difficult to say this is absolutely an upgrade. That doesn't exist because everybody's voice is different. I apologize, my air conditioning just turned on, first time of the year. But what I was saying is everybody's voice and preference is going to be different. So what I might think of as an absolute upgrade from the King B, you might disagree. What I did is recorded a quick walkthrough of a few different microphones that I think are upgrades, in my opinion, and I will play that for you right now. First, I want to quickly demonstrate what the Neat King B sounds like. I am running this through the WA73 EQ, then into the X8, but I am not doing any kind of processing on it. But here is how the $130 microphone you have sounds. To my ears, it sounds absolutely incredible for that price, but I am going to jump between a few other microphones so you can hear what I would consider an upgrade. Now I am speaking into the Shure KSM-44A, which is one of Shure's flagship condenser mics. This is a $1,000 condenser, and here is how it sounds compared to the King B. Next up, because I can't shut up about this microphone, now I am speaking into the Austrian Audio OC818, which does have the exact same capsule as the OC18. The difference between the 18 and the 818 would be the fact that the 818 has multiple polar patterns. So if you're just doing voiceover, in many cases, all you'll need is cardioid. So you can save a few $100 if you like the sound of this microphone and go with the OC18 instead. And the last microphone in this comparison is the Neumann U87AI. I know people don't necessarily think this is the best fit for my voice, but this microphone has a bit of magic to it. It is very mid-forward, but it also has a lot of clarity up top, but it doesn't get harsh. That's the special thing about this. It is one of the smoothest microphones that I have ever heard, and for me, that is something that I find invaluable in a microphone, or at least one of the most important aspects of a microphone. Does it maintain a smooth and pleasing sound throughout the frequency range, or does it get a little bit harsh where they boost it? This doesn't get harsh anywhere. So that is why I love it and why I think it is such a industry standard. So what you'll notice in those tests is the mics that I personally preferred tended to be a little bit more even sounding between the lows and the mids and the highs. The OC818, the KSM-44A, and the U87AI all made the King B sound a little bit V-shaped, where the low end is boosted up, the high end is boosted up, and that gives it, a lot of people do love that sound. A lot of people will get a microphone, automatically throw that on, and that is their preferred sound. That's not my preferred sound. If I was buying one microphone forever, it wouldn't be a V-shaped microphone. It would be a little bit more neutral like those microphones I mentioned, and then I would maybe add a little bit of EQ. I don't know why I said it like that. Add a little bit of EQ, but I try not to affect the tone of a microphone too much. I want to select a microphone that I like the sound of and go from there and just do some minor tweaks to fix some issues, whether it be too much low end, too much high end, a little bit of nasaliness. and then fix that. But some people would probably listen to all of those microphones and say, the King B sounds the best out of them. But I would disagree. So that is the difficult thing. In my opinion, those are all great upgrades from the King B, but you might disagree. Other people might disagree. I hope that gives you some information. I know it's a cop-out answer, but with this audio stuff, it is incredibly subjective. So I am just trying to give you all the information that I can so you can make the best and most informed decision that you are able to make and play around with the stuff that you end up getting. Enrique, hope that helped. Thank you very much for sending in a voice submission, and you sound excellent. Your diction, pristine. Wonderful job, sir. Next, we have a follow-up voice submission from Donald Wonder. Take it away, good sir.
Hey, Bandrew, this is Donald Wonder, back again from the Voice of Mail podcast. I feel a bit, should I say a little bit embarrassed about the last recording I sent in, because I was so hype about this product, the remote multi-tracking podcasting product, which I thought couldn't be found anywhere else. And then you just replied giving 2 or 3 other options that are significantly cheaper, and I felt sheepish, as Robin Williams would say in Aladdin. So yeah, I want to give a shout out to someone, I just didn't do my research enough. I want to give a shout out to someone who actually compared a lot of other ones. Well, he did a really good comparison of a few remote multi-tracking, double ending type podcasting services with great audio, like you mentioned, Bandrew, that I think everyone should check out. So if you ever do that video where you're comparing services that have multi-track capabilities online, remote podcasting services, I reckon this guy's comparison is a good place you can add his information into your analysis or into video. So guys, I think there should be a warning. If you ever hype about a product or a service, do your research before you jump on it. Lucky for me, I didn't make any money purchases. I didn't buy it or anything, but I'm glad we got such a great community out here that are gonna check us. If it's not Bandrew, it'll be someone else, like Alan from Soundspeeds. But anyway, I do have a question. I want to keep this one a lot shorter than the last voicemail. The Opus codec, Opus format, I keep on hearing for years that this should be what takes over MP3. The audio comparison, even if you record Opus at a lower bit rate, apparently the quality difference is so much better than MP3. If you go on YouTube, you'll see so many people comparing. This is the format that people should be using now. This is what the podcast companies, the podcast hosts should be using now for us. Opus is the future. Opus is legend. Opus is life. Bandrew, what do you think of the Opus format? Is there any other codecs or formats that you think could take the place of MP3? There might be some new ones that we don't know about. And again, I want to get feedback from the community. Are there any other formats that you think are just superior to MP3, a lossy format? Is there another lossy format that is just so much better than MP3 that we should be using? And if so, is there a tool you recommend to convert or to recording, or you know what I mean? So guys, just give your thoughts on the codec. Thanks again. And lastly, I just want to end on, guys, I think we should really consult with each other before we get hype about a product, because I do feel sheepish. Thanks, Bandrew. See you soon. Bye.
If you want to check out Donald Wonder's podcast, you can go to voiceofmail.com, M-A-I-L. I did a little bit of research into audio codecs, lossy audio codecs, and I was thinking there was maybe 5. Turns out there's 46 of them. There are 46 audio codecs, at least on the Wikipedia page that I found. 46 of them. I will say, I absolutely love Opus's audio codec, and I am basing that off of my experience with Discord. I use Discord for voice chats every single week. We use, I think, 264 kilobits per second, so pretty high bitrate, and it sounds phenomenal, especially when you compare it to Skype. I'm not 100% sure of this, but I think that Skype uses a codec called Silk, which is a Skype Windows collaboration on some audio codec, and it sounds terrible. If you listen to shows, if you listen to podcasts and you hear somebody on Skype, you automatically can tell because it has audio warbles and just sounds like you're talking through a submarine or something. It is not a good sound. So if you compare Opus to Silk or Skype, it's a night and day difference. Now, I don't know when or if we'll see a huge shift in the audio files we have, meaning when will the switch be from MP3 to something else, but I have already switched from MP3 to M4A, and that is from lame encoding to AAC encoding. And AAC is supposed to be significantly better. I will admit, I have not done any direct A-B comparisons, but I know that Alan Tepper has done a lot of testing and a lot of blind comparisons, and he has found that AAC is the preferred encoding codec thing. But he actually advocates for something called HEAAC, which is high efficiency audio, advanced audio coding. I think that's what it stands for. And for my high quality uploads of my reviews, I will finish the video, upload it to YouTube, and then I will also upload a file to my website so people can hear it without YouTube's compression. I do a 320 kilobits per second M4A file. This podcast also output in M4A. I do 128 kilobits per second, 48 kilohertz. If I was doing HEAAC, I think I might be able to go down to the 80 kilobits per second range. That's what Alan Tepper says, and I trust Alan. He's a super smart guy. Check out his stuff. I can't remember the site he writes for, though. Alan Tepper, ALLENTEPPER. Really bright guy. For VoIP, voice over IP, I think Opus is the right route to go. It sounds incredible. For audio playback, I think AAC is incredible sounding for a lossy codec, especially when you get up to the 320s, 284s, the higher kilobit per second rates. Sounds amazing. Hope that helps you, Donald. Thank you very much for the voice submission, and I hope any of these suggestions that people have sent in help you out a bit on your journey to find the best software to use, the best solution for your current situation. Keep it up. And that is actually it for this episode. That is all the news, the what you had to say, the what I've been testing, the Ask Bandrew. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. I apologize for missing last week's episode. It was one of those weekends where I looked at the news, realized there was absolutely nothing to talk about, and I didn't want to waste your time. There you have it. That's why I wasn't here last week. I tried to inform you in as many ways as possible, short of putting out an episode and saying, hey, no episode this week, which would have been a waste of your time. So thank you for sticking around. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and next Sunday I will talk at you. I hope you are washing your hands. I hope you're staying safe and staying away from other people, not because of this virus thing, but because other people are disgusting and human interaction is disturbing, and it makes me feel sick to the stomach. I'm sorry. I will talk to you all next week. I love you. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.